Welcome back, everybody. It's time for some more Victory at Sea Pacific. We're picking up right where we left off on the live stream, and this battle for Midway is still raging strong. We're trying to finish off this last light cruiser from those two small squadrons of ships that we were attacking over on this side, and we've got 20 dive bombers that I think should do the job pretty easily. Let's go ahead and take out this spotter right here. And I'm going to go ahead and start returning my fleets back to Midway to get refit and try to build up some more of my replacement planes while we start launching attacks against his fighters. We're going to try to reduce his fighter cover like we did before and then go after these three carriers. Okay, so a couple of things happened. We did sink that other ship. Now we are almost back into port at Midway. We're going to get some of our aircraft replaced, and then we're going to go for the big air war to try to wipe out his fighters so we can go after those three carriers and sink them. In the meantime, Graham Brown, who's been a long-time patron of this channel, has requested HMS Hermione. So we're going to have a British ship in our fleet, but that's okay. That's how it works sometimes. They are allies. So it's a battleship, and there you have it. So I'm up here at Mare Island. We're going to build another little squadron of 5 submarines. We're going to have 2 of those going, and those are going to be sent behind enemy lines to try and raid his shipping, but also to be able to kind of scout and see what it is that we may be up against out there. Alright, meanwhile we've got a couple of other ships I got to make sure I get named. We've got a new carrier name here. This Lexington class carrier is now known as the USS Pillar of Autumn, and that is a request from Alec Cummings. So he's got his ship, and then Thomas Grantonic, he's going to have a light cruiser named the Steubenville. So I'm all about that. I live very close to Steubenville, so let's go ahead and find the perfect light cruiser for that. I want to look around a little bit and see. I think I've got some down here in Pearl Harbor that are just getting... Montera's already been named. We don't want to rename the Juno, but I think we can... we'll go with something a little bigger than the Omaha. Tell you what, in San Diego we've got a new Atlanta class cruiser being built at the moment. It's going to be done in a few days. That will be the one that we will name the Steubenville. Alright, let's go ahead and head back to the action, because one other thing I want to point out is that we have this task force that is getting closer and closer to the action. And I'm excited about that because there's 3 battleships, the Colorado, the Tennessee, and the Maryland. And they're about a week and a half or so away from getting into position, and they could just wreak havoc on those carriers if I can get them close enough, if I don't have time to be able to take them out with these guys. Alright, we've got some Zeros that are coming in right here at about as low as they possibly can. They're coming right at my fleet. I've got air cover going here, but they're all up really high. So pretty much this is going to have to be done. There's not a lot of Zeros here, and they've already taken some hits. Most of the other ones are back a little further, so these guys are probably going to get wiped out by anti-aircraft fire. I'm really not sure why he's going so close to my fleet with fighters like this, but let's go ahead and watch what happens when he gets close to all of these ships with their anti-aircraft fire. Here come my Wildcats to intercept. Bye-bye. Well, that was fun. You can see I've got a ton of fighters up here. There's the other Zeros coming in. Looks like they're turning around heading for home. Really not sure what they were thinking. Looks like we must have had some up higher too. Alright, these guys are super close now. He's got a heavy cruiser, 4 destroyers, a battle cruiser, and 3 carriers. So I feel like, and apparently those other fighters that came at me were coming from the other carriers, which are still out there. So it's good that I'm bringing in this other fleet, because I'm probably going to need them once they get there. And I don't know how. I think their ETA is like around May 9th, May 10th, something like that. So they're still a couple of weeks out. So I think we're going to go ahead and launch our attack. Alright, so it looks like he's got destroyers that we're seeing first. I'm not sure if we can even see the rest of them yet. What do we got over here? We got a heavy cruiser. That might be worth going after before too long. There's his spotter flights. We're going to be doing this at night, so I don't know how much success we're actually going to have. I probably should have waited a little bit longer to launch my attack. I'm not going to direct them on who they should attack. I'm going to let them decide that for themselves, and we'll see what happens. They may just bypass these destroyers looking for his carriers. Let's follow this Dauntless and see who... Nope, he's going to go after the heavy cruiser. That's actually okay by me. I don't know how much success we'll have at night. Oh, direct hit. Beautiful. Got a lot more Dauntless than that, though. What do we got? That's just an observation flight. We haven't seen the others yet. Haven't seen the carriers. But if I take out all his escorts, that makes it all the easier. There's another hit. I think one more is going to do it on this guy. We don't need this many dive bombers going after him, but they can come back and refuel and do it again. That's the battle cruiser. Okay. Even better. We're going to miss. Now we got a few hits. Nighttime attacks are the worst. Although it makes it harder for him to hit me too. I don't know why these Wildcats are flying right around him like that. They had a... There we go. They had a directive to protect the dive bombers, but I don't think that meant go in and fly right above the battle cruiser. Just couldn't quite finish him off. That was pretty good though. Did a lot of damage to a heavy cruiser and a lot of damage to a battle cruiser. Alright, let's reload, do it again. Alright, torpedo bombers coming in. They're flying real close to his destroyers on their way to the target, though. I'm not crazy about that. But all we need is one, I think probably one torpedo to hit this guy. We're at 4 times speed right now. Just need one. Battle cruiser's a juicy target. It's not a carrier, but it's still a juicy target. Alright, get nice and close, guys. Torpedoes in the water. We just need one hit. And I think we're going to get it. Oh, maybe not. This is why I hate torpedoes. Yep. Oh, we got you. Got one. That's all I needed. All right. Scratch one battle cruiser. Right as day breaks. Beautiful. Alright, it's going to be a big fighter battle here. He's going to catch up to these 2 dive bombers and take them out, unfortunately. All the other ones are going to get back just fine, but we're sending a massive amount of fighters against him, and he's got a bunch too. I'm not going to watch this because there'd be so much going on we wouldn't really be able to follow it anyway. And where in the world are these guys going? I'm not sure. Task Force 12 has engaged the enemy near Midway. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, he's in range for my ships. So we just lit up one of his ships. I didn't realize that was the case. His ships are in super close now. So forget the fighters. My Navy just went to town on him. Look at that. I think that was that heavy cruiser. So meanwhile, the fighters are also engaging. It looks like his are still coming in. Gotta pause for a second so these things stop moving so I can target them a little better. Try to spread things out a little bit here so they're not all going after the same guy. Got a lot more zeros. I don't understand the AI sending zeros. Although I guess it's because at least on the other carriers, I took out most of his other planes. But I thought I took out most of his carriers too. The nice thing is, because I've basically been parked near Midway this whole time, I get to keep replenishing my fighters. I can't imagine how that's going to be when I'm closer to Japan and I don't have that luxury. It's going to be a lot tougher. Alright, it's going pretty good, I think. Let's go ahead and go out to bridge view for a minute. You can see a lot of his fighters are going back. So now he's down to 4 destroyers, 3 carriers, because he had that heavy cruiser and that battle cruiser that we took out both of those. So now he's just got 4 destroyers escorting those carriers. I feel like we're going to have our opportunity. How close? They're still quite a ways off. Alright, so we waited a little while, and I've got a big group of dive bombers that have fought their way through his fighter screen, and we're back at this squadron again. Now it looks like we see his 4 destroyers here, but I really don't want the destroyers. I want to go after the carriers, because I could go after the destroyers with my battleships when the time comes. So let's go ahead and keep these guys flying. I'm just going to tell them to move in this direction. We're just going to go right past these destroyers. We'll keep them up at a decent height if possible. And hopefully somewhere on the other side of these destroyers we're going to find these carriers. Looks like, alright, here we go, here we go. There's the Soryu. There's the Kaga. Okay. Fox Squadron. Kaga's all yours. Easy Squadron, Soryu. Let's do this. I think that's all we have going right now. Oh no, didn't mean to do that. What in the world? There we go. And they're turning around and... oh, this is so frustrating. What is going on? Okay, I have no idea what happened that my dive bombers turned around and went back. So here we go again. This time we're going after the Shokaku. The Kaga's right there. We've got the Soryu. So that's the 3. But I think we're finally going to get an attack here. Let me slow things down. I'm actually going to just watch the carrier. Looks like we're going after Soryu as well. We're attacking at night, which means we're going to miss. Oh, we got some hits there, though. Looks like we missed the Soryu, but we took out Shokaku by about half. So that's a start. It's not as great as I'd like it to be, but it's a start. Alright, meanwhile, Task Force 22 engaged with an enemy subgroup and sank all 4 of them. So I'll show you where that is. Task Force 22 is the one with the carriers that I'm sending over to help out with the fight in Midway. There was this group of 4 enemy subs coming in this way, so I detoured them over to deal with the subs. They sank all 4 of them. And so now we're headed back to Midway, where I've temporarily disengaged from fighting with these carriers because I took a lot of losses among my planes. So you can see here what we're dealing with. Enterprise pretty much lost all her planes. Yorktown has lost most of her planes. Midway, or I'm sorry, not Midway. Pillar of Autumn, again, most of hers. And You Want to Buy is the only one that's actually got a decent amount. So we're going to get fully refit. We're going to finish these guys off, and then we're going to work in coordination with Task Force 22 to hunt down that other group of carriers and finish them as well. All right, here we go. We're going to get our aircraft in the air. Interestingly, I don't see him launching fighters. I'm sure they're coming, and I don't know why we didn't launch our fighters. Not sure what I was thinking there without fighters, but let's go ahead into combat. I kind of waited a little too long. I was going at full speed trying to get this thing going. Okay, here we go. Let me pause for a second so I can take a look at the fleet. Here's the destroyers. There's Kaga and Shokaku, which apparently we've already hit both of them. That happened faster than I realized. Let's try to finish these guys off. We've got Hal Squadron right here. They're not in range, so they can't even see these guys yet. I guess I must have missed the attack. Here comes another section of bombers. Let's watch their attack go in. I'm going to try to finish off the Kaga. Soryu's still in good shape, actually. Let's go ahead and break off a couple units to go after Shokaku. If we do this right, we get them both, and he's down to one carrier. Here they go. Ah, they missed. That's the problem with these nighttime attacks. Everybody missed. Here comes some more. They missed too. Oh, brutal. Brutal. Nobody hit. Who do we got left? Looks like we've got maybe one or two coming in. Ah, now it's going to be daylight. I don't even know where those guys were going. That was brutally bad. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go again. We've got some daylight. This is our second wave coming in. I'm gonna send them right at the Kaga, and then when the other ones get reloaded, we'll see if we can take out the others. Come on, boys, do your job. Yes! Kaga is down. Scratch another flat top. Yeah, I don't think you guys need to hit him now. Alright, now we go after Shokaku, and then if we can take that one out, we'll go after Soryu. Alright, so we've got some Devastators coming in. Not many of them, but we're going to put some torpedoes in the water. Might be able to finish Shikaku off that way, if any of them get in close enough. That's always the question. Come on, get one in the water. We got 2 torpedoes in the water, and we lost every one of the Devastators. That's why I hate those things. So we're not going to see what happens with these torpedoes, because I have no planes to get eyes on the target. I don't know if we'll see the torpedoes do something, if they hit them, or what. Yeah, he must have got away from them. Okay, so we must have gotten the other carrier with the torpedo, because there's just the Soryu left. And so she's got all 4 of the destroyers guarding her closely, so I have a feeling that it's going to be a lot harder to hit this target with that many destroyers protecting them. Hello! Just as we get the Portland-class cruiser now available, and the Brooklyn-class light cruiser, and the St. Louis-class cruiser, and the Tennessee-class battleship, and the Lexington-class carrier, we nail the Soryu, and she is gone. That is now 4 Japanese carriers sunk, 3 in this task force and 1 in the other. So now we could probably just go ahead and take on these destroyers with the rest of our fleet. That'll be pretty easy, I think, but that is great news. Let's go ahead and take a look at the situation now. Now that we've got a bunch of new ships available, we'll go ahead and send in. We've got, looks like 9 more dive bombers. Let's just go ahead and let them do their thing. See if they can finish off these other destroyers. They got 1 of them. 1 destroyer left. Probably not even worth going after at this point. So we're going to go ahead and return these task forces to Midway. Get them refit, resupplied. And I think I'm going to go ahead and send Task Force 22 down toward Tarawa to take on that raid, which is our current objective. Once we do that, then we've got to start thinking about going after actual victory condition objectives. But that's where we're at for now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and queue up our first Lexington-class carrier. We're going to build that in Puget Sound up in Seattle area. We're definitely going to do the upgrade. And then let's see what else we had available. There's the Tennessee-class battleship. Not real crazy about that. But there was something else we had. The Brooklyn-class light cruiser, which looks really fantastic. I think maybe we'll build a couple of those as well. Here's one of our sub squadrons has been completed. We're going to go ahead and send them, I think, to Johnson to repair and resupply. Once they reach there, we can start sending them out to get a glimpse. But now you're starting to see that I'm starting to get a little bit of a glimpse as far as what's going on in this area, because I've got Task Force 22 heading down that way. Once these carriers are refit and ready to go with a full complement of planes, we're going to, I think, maybe move them toward Wake Island. Okay, it is April 13th. Both of my carrier squadrons are fully refit and ready to go. I think it's time to go ahead and launch a raid. We can't do amphibious assault because we need more recon on that area, but we're going to go ahead and launch a raid with both of these carrier squadrons. I think in the process of doing that, we're going to probably run into those other carriers that we engaged before. That's actually kind of what I'm hoping is going to happen. I've renamed my 2 Wolfpacks of brand new subs, Wolfpack Alpha, Wolfpack Charlie, just to make it a little easier to kind of figure out where they are. And I believe they're moving now. These guys are moving toward Johnston Island, as is the other one. Alright, time for our first raid on Wake Island. I really don't know what to expect, but he does have a fleet out here. I'm just now noticing that, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to see it from here. All right, we just spotted the vessels finally. Let's view them on the map. 3 destroyers and a light cruiser, so nothing major. A couple of torpedo boats, but still stuff I'd like to be able to take out if possible. But we're going to start with Wake itself. I'd like to actually just be able to capture Wake Island, and it doesn't seem to be that defended, but the problem is I don't know yet how to do that. If I look at the map and you look at an option to try and capture, you see it says more recon required, so I'm not entirely sure how we do that except to do that. So if we scout it now, I don't know if that means we'll be able to launch an actual attack. Looks like we still have to do some more recon first. So let's go ahead and take a look at combat and see what happens here. Part of me doesn't want to actually attack it. I'd rather just capture the darn thing, and I really don't want to be looking at these guys. Alright. Why in the world are dive bombers down at that level? A second ago I had them. Yeah, in fact I do have their ordered altitude at 2,900 meters. Oh, they're scouting, that's why. Okay, so we're doing our scouting. I guess we've got to do enough scouting. It's at 2% right now. Alright, I'm starting to learn how all this works. I didn't understand that before. Now I know. Okay, so here's what's happening right now while we are scouting out Wake Island for a possible invasion, and while I was sending this task force down to raid Tarawa, a couple of things are happening near Midway. One is that we see a bunch of dive bombers headed that way, which means there's some carriers over here somewhere. That's that other fleet that I had attacked before. There's also a bunch of destroyers headed that way. So we're going to turn around. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cut short this scouting mission. We might be able to keep Task Force 17 scouting and raiding on Wake Island, but we're going to turn Task Force 12 this direction, try and hunt down these carriers. And we're going to turn Task Force 22 around as well. In the meantime, I don't know what we've got over here at Johnston. We don't have anything. We've got a destroyer and a cruiser, but I think we're going to just hang tight with them for now. Oh boy, he's launched an amphibious assault on Midway. While I thought the coast was clear, he did that. And he's probably going to be successful with that. There he is. That's the force I was looking for. There's 2 carriers, battle cruiser, heavy cruiser, 3 destroyers. Let's hit him. Okay, so we sank that fleet of ships that was near Wake Island. That's the good news. We're at 17% on scouting Wake Island. The bad news, of course, is this. It's all these enemy landing craft coming toward Midway Island, and I really don't have anything in the area to stop him. I have a feeling he's going to probably take Midway. You can see what's happening here. I don't know that I've got much in the way of a defense, because he destroyed my defense system that was in place, and I have nothing nearby now. So let's go back to the bridge. We have launched our first wave of an attack on his carrier squadron here. We're going to try desperately to get this task force back up toward Midway, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. And I've kept Task Force 17 on the job of scouting Wake Island. Okay, so here's the Japanese carrier fleet. Akagi and Zuikaku. Those are the 2 that I haven't taken out yet. I've sunk 4 Japanese carriers so far. 1 from this fleet, and of course the 3 from the others. He's scrambling his fighters now, so we're going to probably lose. Oh, he's scrambling a lot of fighters. I don't know how he got all those fighters. I thought I took out most of the fighters on these planes. but he's definitely shooting down a lot of my dive bombers, but not all of them. So let's see what happens here. See if any of them can get a shot on target. Who are we going after here? We're not even going after the carrier. We're going after a battle cruiser. But we nailed some hits on the battle cruiser. Really would prefer we were hitting the carrier though. I decided to let them do their own thing instead of giving them orders, and of course you see how that works out. Okay, so we took out those destroyers that were over here nearby, but his carriers are parked right off of Midway now, and that's a huge problem, obviously. We've been engaging the fighters, but you can see I've been taking some losses here. Let's take a look, and you can see Yuana Buyer's lost about half of her aircraft. Pillar of Autumn has lost almost all her aircraft, so it's not been going well. We're gonna need that other fleet to get up there. The good news is Wake Island has been scouted to the point where we can capture it now. So we're gonna go ahead and launch an amphibious attack on Wake Island while simultaneously trying to defend Midway from an amphibious attack. So let's go ahead and look and see what's happening here. Okay, so here are all our Higgins boats going in for the assault on Wake Island. So we completed the raid on Wake Island objective, but that is not our aim now. Our aim is to capture it. So we've got Marines going in. I guess we can't go faster than 25. It's going to be interesting to see how this all works. My first time doing a landing like this. So you've got Higgins boats, you've got LSTs, which are the big ones. And we're going to be doing this at night apparently. Alright, where we going, boys? Time changes so fast on here, it's already coming up to daylight. Ooh, we're sinking a lot of these things. We have successfully occupied Wake Island. We can now use this base to resupply and repair our ships. Excellent news. And I think that's a good place to wrap this episode up. We've got to go back and defend Midway. We've got fleets on the way to do that, but we've got our first chunk of Japanese territory in our possession. From here, we'll be able to launch an attack on the Marshall Islands. Then we'll go for the Gilberts, and we'll just start island hopping toward Japan. So let me know your thoughts about all that. Use that comment section below. Drop a like if you would, and we will see you again in a couple of days with the next episode. Thanks for watching.